Folks, very excited. We are sitting down now with Shawn Porter. Shawn, thank you so much for jumping on with us.
What is this on my mic?
No idea.
Shouldn't have touched it, right?
Yeah, no. It might be gum. I
What's
don't know.
happening, man? It definitely was gum. I wouldn't have said it.
You knew it the second you
I was
touched
like,
it.
oh, why'd I do that? What's happening?
Shawn, you're very observant. Is that kind of the skill you had in the boxing when you were a fighter?
I just in life, like I pay attention to detail. I was just being silly, but no, I really do think that's gum, and I shouldn't have touched it. But no, I think that's important in life. You got to pay attention to detail. Great person told me, he says, not how long you've been alive, it's how long you've been paying attention. And I love that saying, and I think that is very true, like you just said. So that's kind of who I am, you know.
You know, it's funny. Shawn was telling me right now, he's like, man, I came over here and everybody started asking me for an interview, and I kind of did it to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's because everybody loves you. You're a cool guy,
Thank
and you're doing your homework for Saturday's fight. What did you make of that press conference?
I didn't see the press conference. Okay. I just walked in late or whatever, but
You saw the scrum
I'm
out
not
here?
surprised. No.
Oh, okay.
I stay very far away from this. I stay very, very far away from this. Yeah, I was like, yo, is it safe out there yet? You know? I don't play around, man. I don't got time to be getting caught up in trying to run and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, man, it's no surprise, man. I like to say this, man. This is how Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal got here. They got here being like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Breaking the rules and making it. They're serious, but it's also like there's this level of entertainment that I don't even know if they're like conscious to it in the moment when they're doing it, but it becomes entertaining. And outside of the fact, of course, that it could get, you know, a little more riled up. Both these guys from the streets, you know. So This is what boxing is, for the sake of words. You know, most guys come from the streets. I did not, which is why I stay far away from that stuff.
Well, and you saw what happened at the press conference a month ago, where
I heard about it. Yeah, heard about it.
Yeah, that's a lot of you stay away from the craziness.
I stay so far away from the craziness, you never know I was there.
That's why you're hanging out with us.
Exactly.
And you're
It's
professional.
nice and quiet out here now.
Yeah.
It's nice and quiet out here now.
You know, going off of that, how's that life been? You know, being in the media, being a reporter, you're going to be actually giving some analysis during this fight night on Saturday.
Yeah.
But you've been doing a lot in the past couple of years.
I love it. Always knew I would. My first shot to do it was 2015. Antonio Tarver had a fight on Spike TV, and they had me come in. He was actually calling the fights on Spike, and they had me come in to sit in for him. And I had already known it before I had done it, that number one, I was going to be good. and number two, I knew that I was going to love it. And that's exactly, I couldn't wait to get where I'm at now. The podcast, I think, is just more so like an extension of being able to like kind of do it daily. And also the other side of that is this, you know, it's our or my format, my content. So nobody tells me how to do it, when to do it, things like that. So, but overall, man, I love it. The Porterweight Podcast, if you don't know.
Nice
there you
plug.
go. Make sure you guys check it out. Yeah. This weekend, your tag team partner is going to be an MMA guy himself, Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
How exciting is that? And what are you expecting?
What I like about that is I didn't know what the team was going to look like, and I know Morrow. I know that he knows a lot about that world, and so I was like, okay, how do I play off of some of these little intricate things that may come about in the ring, and not that I was worried about it, but to have someone that I can literally just throw questions at and play with is gonna be awesome.
Shawn, how do you like these crossover fights? These are MMA fighters, the main event guys, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to come around to it?
This is the most, like, I think the most legit and evenly matched crossover fight that we could have. This one makes one makes more sense. This exhibition makes more sense than Roy Jones and Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like, I think these guys are at the same level. They're about the same age. They've done the same things, you know, almost the same mileage, you know, all that kind of stuff on their bodies. And I like this one. My thing being ringside when Nate fought Jake Paul was like he just didn't let his hands go enough, and you know, I don't know how serious he took it. I'm hoping that this one it doesn't become like that fight. That fight, he was entertaining, he was fun to watch, but it was like beyond that, he didn't win a round. You know what I mean? I think if he comes in here on some the stuff that they've been talking about, we're gonna have a good time.
When you see, like, and you said this is the closest one that you've seen. But when you heard about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, did you feel like that was a little bit over the top? Or?
No, go look at the Porterweight podcast. I said day one that fight's not gonna happen. I said that, and I don't mean to hate on anybody, anything. I don't want to make it sound like I know something that nobody else knows. Some things don't make sense there. It don't make sense, and I think that the situation that we had, obviously we saw. Mike was on a plane, and he has this horrific situation on the plane, and it's like it didn't make sense to start with. So I still don't think we get it. I think are we getting something else in the meantime?
Yeah, Jake is fighting
Mike
in a
Perry.
month. Yeah.
That's an MMA guy, right?
Yeah,
UFC guy?
and then in November supposedly they're going to be doing Tyson.
But I don't hate on it, and I don't hate it, and this is why. Pay attention. We've seen NFL. We've seen NBA, I think. We saw Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
We've seen MMA. We've seen YouTubers. Why ain't nobody else trying to do like a 3-point contest? Nobody's trying to do a dunk contest. Nobody's trying to see who can run the 40 the fastest. Nobody's getting on the track, and nobody's jumping, doing pole vault. Everybody's coming to boxing. Now, disclaimer for boxing, because this is the place that boxing has put itself in. You can't just go get on the NFL football team, but you can just go get a professional boxing license. So there's the disclaimer there, but nobody else is trying to do any of that other stuff. You could have these YouTubers could be going to the Giant Stadium and paying to get on. And we know they got money. They could pay to get on the field and catch punts and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's coming to boxing. Why? Because boxing is, and this is for another disclaimer, I love the NFL. I love football.
Who's your team?
The Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns,
There
baby.
you go.
I will watch football 100 times before I watch the same game 100 times before I watch boxing. I love this, but it's like a part of who I am. But I love football. But as a football player growing up, watching football my whole life, I started to really realize when I got to a certain level and started seeing comedians and actors and entertainers come to the boxing fights, come to my fights, and Bobby Brown's in my back room, and I started to realize, like, dang, everybody wants to go to a big fight night. There's something about boxing. There's an essence that no other sport has, and that's why I love this crossover, because it's really showing you guys, if you're paying attention, it's showing you that this sport is the sport, because this sport has something that no other sport has.
And that's what Gilbert had told me. He's been covering boxing for years, and he's like, Fernando, you have not seen anything until you see Fight Night. Now that I've been a part of it, I'm like, wow, like it everybody just is watching. They want to see the greatness that's in there, and it's completely different from all the other sports.
On the great nights, when the greats are in the ring, it's something else.
Yeah.
It's something else. But you can't. Not every boxing match. Not every show.
Yeah.
You don't get that essence in every show. But man, let great versus great. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Well, you had many of those. You fought Danny Garcia, Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Terence Crawford. So that's a good amount right there.
I had a couple of them, man. I'm blessed, man. I think that it's hard to do this at a high level and remain at an elite level doing it the way that I did it. I literally fought everybody when they didn't have a scratch on them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I fought everybody when they didn't have a scratch on them, and by the grace of God, I didn't have too many scratches on me. You know what I mean? So I'm blessed, and now my thing is just trying to give back to the sport and take the sport to some places that hasn't been in a long time.
And Sean, people always ask you about the best pound for pound, but can I ask you, who are the guys that are must watch? Like the top 5 right now, you gotta watch anytime they're on.
Tank Davis is a must watch. David Benavidez is a must watch. I know both those guys just fought. Terence Crawford is a must watch. He's near the end of his career. I just feel like the way he has been able to perform and remain consistent. One of the few fighters out there that remains consistent like that. Alexander Usyk, I think he's been able to figure out every single puzzle that's been put in front of him, and has been electric the whole way, which has been is great to see. Naoya Inoue, the Japanese assassin. That's not, they call him the monster, but I mean he really is, man. He's an assassin. He sees those openings and it's like he takes them, man, and nobody can do it like that.
Let me ask you. You mentioned two names right there that have been linked to Canelo.
I mentioned 5 minutes. I did
sorry.
when we first.
You're right.
No, go
You're
ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
Sorry, we're almost done.
Yeah.
You mentioned two names that have been linked to Canelo Alvarez.
Oh boy.
Terence Crawford and David Benavidez.
Yeah.
Which one would you rather see, and which one do you like to make predictions? You've said it. So
I hate making predictions.
No.
Dude, I literally hate making predictions. I've gotten a little loose on it nowadays.
Which one would you rather see, and which one do you think happens? There you go. I'm not asking you.
That's great.
Yeah.
The one I'd rather see. I think the one I'd rather see is Canelo and David. Mm-hmm. But the one I think out of the two of those, the one I could see happening first would be David and Terence. And you know, Canelo's on record. He says, you know, fighting Terence is a lose-lose. I get it.
Yeah.
But I think he knows that a night against David Benavidez really is a nightmare. And he's also hinted at, hey, I'm gonna fight everybody before I'm done. I don't know about that. All respect, but I don't know about that. And like, it's like I like to say, he's literally earned the right to do whatever it is he wants to do before he leaves this sport, and I get it why he wouldn't want a night with the David Benavidez. Let's say that goes 12 grueling rounds and he wins the fight. That's just a night that I like this analogy. He's been on the highway fighting everybody, and he's fought everybody. He's finally about to get off the highway. Are you taking a David Benavidez exit, or you gonna keep going by till you see another exit? Right?
We were at that fight. I don't think I would want to. I don't think.
And you just keep going. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that. That's not what you.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No.
Well, that's
Anything
it.
else? All right. Well, that is
5
Shawn
extra minutes with
Porter.
Shawn Porter here.
Thank you so much for jumping on with us, and don't forget, plug that podcast one more time.
The Porterweight podcast, and you guys, please let me know where you guys are at so I can follow y'all.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, there you go.
My apologies.